morning. Welcome to the Friday show. Let me know you are here. Can you believe it's Friday already? And I stayed home all week. That is a first in a long time. No traveling, no giveaways. I stayed home for an entire week. I don't know what to do with myself. This is crazy. Good morning, Heather. How is it in Kentucky? Is it getting cold? Like for this morning when I woke up early for the gym, it was dark. I'm like, winter is coming. It is dark at 5:30 in the morning here in Nevada. Good morning, Denisha. Speaking of gym time and healthy eating, we're all trying to band together here and help each other make better, healthier decisions. Good morning, Connie. It's cooling down. It's beautiful. Yeah, I bet all the leaves are turning. At least you get more of like a fall, which is good. Good morning, Jen. I forgot to type. You know what I forgot to type? I forgot to type the title of my show today. I don't think I can fix that now. We are going to talk about, I think this is really important and something that's not talked a lot about, well, I don't think at all really, is how much sleep does your dog need? This is so important, and we'll break it down by adult dog to a puppy. I'm going to see if I can add my title on this. Hold on, you guys. Here we go. How much sleep does your dog need? Okay, hold on. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to try. Hopefully I won't mess it up. Fighting with the boys. Okay, let's see if that worked. You guys will have to let me know. Putting a title on it. Did I title it? How much sleep does your dog need? And looking at what are the differences of the sleep cycle of the dog versus a human? You know, here we live with these canines, and do you really know how much sleep they need, how they sleep, some of those really important things. So, Karen, hello, still hot here. Where are you, Karen? Are you in Nevada? It's still hot here. It is cooling down, though. It is cooling down in the evenings, and in the mornings, it's a lot cooler too, which is such a blessing for our dogs. You know, there's pros and cons about everything. There are breeders that live where it snows, and then winter is just a hassle with the snow and exercising dogs and getting puppies outside, and it's just nothing but a problem. But we have the same issues here when it's so stinking hot. We have to get up a lot earlier and start our shifts a lot earlier to get our dogs out before it gets too hot. Then they're all tucked away into air conditioning during the heat of the day, and then they're back out again at night. But even at night, when it is so stinking hot, even though the sun has gone down, the cement and the rocks and the pavers and their agility course is all still so hot. Like, you know, when you're in 3-digit temperatures for the heat, it never really cools down at night here. Like, we have 2 months that is just, it is pretty much just flat out miserable, and keeping our dogs safe and healthy is our utmost priority. So there's not a lot of outside time for the dogs and the puppies for 2 months out of the year here. And all dog owners have this issue. You know, you're putting boots on them, trying to get them out, but it's just too hot. And so, good grief. Good morning, Rachel, badass breeder. Good morning, Valerie. All right, you guys, let's talk about dogs and sleep. This is something that's just not being talked about. And gosh dang it, like, we live with these dogs. So how much sleep does your dog need? Go ahead, take a gamble, take a guess. But I will tell you, do one guess for an adult dog. How many hours of sleep does an adult dog need? And how much does a puppy need? Now, I'm not talking puppies under 8 weeks old, right? That's something the breeder should know, and something that we manage. I'm talking 8 weeks to 1 year. That's what we're going to call a puppy today, because that's really when the sleep will change a little bit. Just know that, you know, the younger they are, the more sleep they need, just like a baby, right? And then the older they get, the less sleep they'll need. So go ahead and take a guess. How much sleep does an adult dog need in a 24-hour period? We're going to talk 24-hour period versus how much for a puppy. You guys are all going to Google right now, aren't you? I see you all. All right, Jen says puppy needs 18 to 20 hours, adult 14 hours. Heather, a puppy needs about 16 to 18 hours of sleep a day. Do you guys hear this? 18 out of 24 hours? Is that what you're telling me? A puppy needs 16 to 18 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period? Because you all not doing that. Those you taking home a brand new puppy, you are not letting that puppy sleep 16 hours a day. Is that what you're telling me that they need? Are you meeting those needs? Okay, I'm erring on the side of less, average, right? Even for humans. So here is, let me see, anybody else have any more? 9 hours, 9 hours for an adult dog. Interesting, Darren. So about as much as a human needs is what you're saying. 9 hours for an adult dog. And Darren says 12 to 14 for a puppy. Darren must be one of those humans that only needs 5 hours sleep. Right? You know those people? I love you, but I don't. I don't know how you can function on 5 to 6 hours a night. I wish I could. I cannot. I've done some classes. I was super fascinated with the brain, and I have done. I actually, most people don't know this, but I'm only 6 credits short of having my doctorate degree in education. And one of my things that I love to study is actually psychology and brain development. Super fascinating, the human brain. So some people, why do people, no, Jen, I do sleep. People think I don't, but I am one of those humans that does require a decent amount of sleep. And what I had learned in classes was, you know, it doesn't make you more lazy, it doesn't make you more intelligent or less intelligent. It just takes some brains longer to clean everything up at night. Like they have to go through, and you have brain cells dying, and it has to sweep and clean all of that and recharge and whatnot. Some brains can do that at a faster rate than others. So I'm just telling you, I got a slow brain. I have my brain. I got the slow brain at night to clean up all the dead. There must be a lot of dead brain cells every night, because it takes me a much longer time. Some people can truly function with less sleep and do well. Like, I'm not talking short term, I'm talking on average. Like, how much do you require of sleep? And it really has to do with how long it takes your brain to do what it needs to do at night, and get to REM, and then clean up all the dead brain cells. It gets rid of stuff that you're not using anymore, and this whole process that it does. I clearly got a slow brain at night, because I've never been one of those people that can function even on 7 hours. Is difficult for me. Shorter takes 7 to 9 hour midday naps and then sleeps. Okay, so good. I'm glad you brought up naps, because we're going to talk about this. Dogs do require naps. I'm learning the hard way that puppies need lots of sleep or they are crazy. Jennifer, absolutely. And this is why I think it's so important to do this show, is because we don't realize how much sleep puppies need. And this is what I have seen 12 years of breeding. We're so excited to take home our puppy. And for many of us, we have kids in the house and other family members, right? Very few puppies go into a home with one human. Not that it would completely change things, but it really does, because there's more commotion, there's more things going on, there's more people that want a connection and an interaction with that puppy. So what happens is, by the time everybody in the family gets their turn with the puppy, we are keeping puppies up far too long. They are not getting their necessary and required sleep. And not only sleep, you're going to learn today that resting is absolutely also so critical to our puppies. So let's talk, shall we? Let's talk what we need. I'm going to bring my next little slide on over. Okay, on average, and again, you know, studies could vary a little bit. Adult dogs need 10.5 hours sleep a night. Humans typically 7 to 9. I'm definitely right at that 8 or 9 to feel my best, to function at my best, to be productive. And then a puppy requires 14 to 18 hours. Now, younger puppies are definitely closer to 20. 20 out of 24 hours a day they need to sleep. That's not at 8 weeks when they go home, but they're right at that 18 hours when you take home a brand new puppy. 18 hours of sleep they need when you take home an 8-week-old puppy. You are not letting those puppies sleep that long. There is no way you're letting them sleep and rest and nap the way that they truly, truly need to. And God love our puppies. They will do their best to stay awake. They will do their best to keep up with you. They will do their best to make sure everybody in the family gets the love they need. I will say I have, and this should have been being talked about for a long time, because I do, when I see families come with a lot of kids, like, I know there's a lot of love to give, but it also makes me feel a little bad. And I need to make sure that I educate those families as well, that I'm sorry you have 6 family members. This is still only 1 puppy. There we go. And my 1 puppy still needs and requires the amount of sleep and rest. It doesn't matter there's 6 people in the family versus 1. My puppy still needs 14 to 18 hours of sleep a day. Plus, on top of that is quiet resting time that we're also not giving our puppies. And we are absolutely seeing a negative impact to that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. When our puppies are not getting the required rest and sleep that they need. We all know what happens to people, me included, when I do not get enough sleep at night. You can't function. You're crabby. You're snippy. I have no patience. So think about even the things that present in humans when we don't get enough sleep. It does translate to puppies as well. And we can see, yes, Rachel, grumpy puppies that then people call and say, I've got a naughty puppy. When I start asking, what's their day look like? What's their schedule look like? How much are they sleeping? How much are you handling them? How much are you packing them around? Dogs aren't meant to be held all the time. In fact, very little. Dogs were never meant to be held. And so when we're just passing them from person to person and packing them around all the time, you know what? You guys would be grumpy too. Like when there's no free will and they're getting dressed up by one kid and then getting toys played on them with another kid, and all of that is fine, but it's just too much, and especially for a young puppy. So 7 to 9 hours average for people, 10.5 for adults, 14 to 18 for our puppies. Way more than you thought. I mean, a lot of you got it right, but as a whole, as a society, we do not, our puppies do not get enough rest. Okay, sleep routines. Maybe you didn't realize it, but we know that dogs sleep a lot throughout the day too. They take a lot of naps. They are polyphastic sleepers. They're on and off throughout a 24-hour period. We can't really function that way. We try, and there are some people that can do it short term, while they'll sleep a little bit and then you've got to get up and work, and then they can try to sleep a little bit more. But it never bodes well long term. We are not meant to do that. We are monophasic sleepers, which means we need all of our sleep at one time. Now, dogs need a chunk of it at night. They are like us too. The majority of the night they're sleeping, and they should be sleeping, but during the day they're polyphastic and they need to do lots of little naps throughout the day. That's why it's really difficult for me when I have people come. Let me just tell you, I'll just say it. We get a lot of applications for our Healing Hearts. They want a free service dog, right? And even people that don't want a free one, they'll come to us and I'm like, what do you want your dog to do? I want to make sure you have realistic expectations of what you want your dog to do as a service dog. And here are things that will kick people out. Their application will become invalid because they have unrealistic expectations of what their dog can do or what they want. People that want their dog to tell time. I want my dog to tell me to take my medication when I'm supposed to take my medication. Okay, how in the shit am I going to teach a dog to tell time and make sure you're taking your medication? I can't. Now, if you want to set alarms on your phone and the dog will respond to your alarms, we can teach that, but then why not just set alarms on your phone, right? The other thing is people want, especially a diabetic alert dog, you trainers out there, you want the dog to alert and keep track of your highs and lows throughout the day and at night. My dog cannot work 24/7. While they are polyphastic sleepers, they still need a decent chunk of sleep during the night. Can we try to train them to do night alerts? Yeah, we can. What, shit, I love you. Thank you, Jen. We can train them to do night alerts, but it's not always super accurate because they are sleeping too, and their REM, they go in and out of REM a lot faster. And you know, we are expecting and anticipating in one of these dogs just to wake up out of their sleep to catch a scent. So just understand from a dog's point of view and the natural life of a dog and their sleep cycle, they can't work 24/7 for you. So when people come with such unrealistic expectations, yes, your application is denied. Yes, we remove your application. If you come to me to buy one, I still will tell you no if you have unrealistic expectations of what you think a dog can do. That is my job as a breeder. That is all breeders' jobs, to be the voice of their puppy first and foremost. And why would I want to set you up to fail and my puppy up to fail with, you know, your ideas of what you think this dog should do? We can definitely have that conversation on, you know, look, we can teach a dog to respond to an alarm, you know, and then make sure you get up, or just set an alarm. You know, is that easier than having a dog? A dog is not a robot. And so having a service dog does require a lot of extra work and time and money. So making sure that people have realistic expectations is so important. So the same thing for a puppy as well. You have to have realistic expectations that they have to sleep a lot. Take advantage of it. They need to sleep a lot longer. I know that I have a lot of people when they come to buy a puppy, they say, especially my teachers, I want to get a puppy during the summer because I'm off. And I'm like, actually, line it up that the puppy turns 16 weeks when summer starts, because that first 8 weeks, they still sleep a lot. It's when they hit 16 weeks old that they require less sleep. They require more training. And so that's when, if you're going to take time off, you would do so. Plus, dogs, on top of the enormous amount of sleep they need an average of 5 hours dedicated to resting. Like, I want to sign up for this gig. Where's my boss? I need an extra 5 hours of rest during the day. Whereas humans are awake and alert. So we get up, except there are some cultures and countries that have nap time, right? Like, they're onto something too. But our dogs still need a required 5 hours where it's just quiet time. We're not asking anything of them. We're not asking them to be alert and train. You know, and so be honest and think about, if you have a dog or a puppy, especially if you've recently taken home a puppy from myself or another breeder, how much sleep and quiet time are they getting? I am telling you right now, generally not enough. So let them sleep. When they get up and they are at the height of their activity, that's when you play, that's when you train, that's when you work them, and then they're back down, and then they can have quiet resting time. To chew on their bone, play with the toy, and then they need to sleep. And then they'll repeat. There's only going to be a few of those sessions a day, instead of constantly keeping your puppy awake. They're sleeping and one kid goes and picks them up, and then they fall back asleep, and then, you know, something else happens and they wake back up. So think about how much are they being interrupted as well in the day. We're going to talk about that too. Let me get my next slide up. Okay. Here. Getting all fancy. Okay. So when dogs do not get enough sleep, I always go the wrong way. Here are the complaints that I hear myself and other breeders as well. I know we want some siesta time too, man. Wait, what cultures or countries are that? There are some, like, who is it? I can't even think of who it is right now. Help me. There are, like, they have nap time embedded right in, they got like part of their office, they got like mats, like preschool, man, like they can go sleep right in the middle of the day. I will say though, when I do, the few times I do nap in the middle of the day, I don't think I feel better after a nap. I think I feel worse. I think if I just make it happen and go to bed early, I do better. Italy does. Let's move to Italy. Plus they have pasta and wine. Let's be real. Carbs, wine, siesta time. Right, I was thinking Japan too, Denisha. I was thinking, was it China, Japan, both, neither, either? I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. All right. Common complaints I get from clients when they call about their puppy is I hear the word aggressive. The puppy's just getting really aggressive. I do want to say I understand what you mean by that word, but just in the spirit of education, a puppy under 16 weeks old, it's almost impossible for them to be aggressive in a way that we know an adult dog can be. It's all typical, normal puppy behavior. Now, can they spin up and it seems out of control? And then that's why then you're using the word aggressive? Yeah. You know why? Because they're freaking tired. So when their normal puppy play turns to what you think now becomes aggression, they're tired. Number one, that will be the number one reason why. Number two, overhandling. You're packing the puppy around too much between you and your children. Check that. See how much we're actually packing the puppy around, coupled with lack of sleep, and you're absolutely going to get a crabby puppy. And at some point, they have to, I hope they do, speak up for themselves. And that's what they're telling you. Too damn much. Stop. Stop. I love you. I'm trying to keep up with you and your 5 kids, but I can't. So let me sleep and let me have my 5 hours of rest a day, please. All right. Anxious. They become more anxious and they become more stressed. Like, don't we all? We can't function on lack of sleep. And you think of, I know, I'll just say, like, when I am overly tired and something little happens, like I open the pantry and spaghetti sauce, a glass jar, dumps out and there's spaghetti sauce all over. When I'm well rested, you're like, okay, this stinks, whatever, you get to work. But when I am overly tired, like I just want to cry. It's like the end of the world because there's like glass of spaghetti sauce everywhere. So even something as simple as life events of something spilling, depending where you are mentally, and sleep is a huge proponent of that, will dictate the outcome and how you handle and manage those things. And it's the same for our dogs. So if they're overly tired, they're not able to manage stack stress. You're trying to go out and expose, but they're so tired that it now becomes negative, which then just becomes one problem after another after another. So dogs who sleep well are better adjusted and more emotionally stable. Humans too, myself included. Exercise and diet are also really important. I talk a lot about the needs of a dog in order and how we get it all wrong and why we have so many problems with our dogs. Number one, rules, boundaries, and limitations, and we should put sleep in there, right? But if we have rules, boundaries, and limitations on how much you're going to be up, how much we're going to ask of you, that they get their sleep. Number two, mental and physical exercise. We have to make sure that they're getting their mental and physical exercise, then love and affection, and then put them back down for a nap. Where they sleep is important. Dogs that are not home do not sleep as well. They will not enter REM as quickly or at all. So, but I think it's important when they're younger that you do make them more adaptable. And that's why I love kennel training. This is another reason why I love kennel training, is because, and I learned when I was in college and had a dog. And if I traveled and I'd go back and visit my family or whatever, I just always brought her kennel. And then she just knew she was safe and that was her place to sleep. And my dog at the time never had issues with sleeping or going potty. And, there's so many dogs that won't go potty with all of the change. And so doing the best we can with making them as adaptable as possible is important for their sleep cycles as well. They perform and learn better when well rested. It's common sense, right? But it's true. Having a safe den, a bed, they're more likely to enter REM. So if they're kennel trained, I think is really important for puppies. And then, of course, if they have their bed. Jenna, are you okay? You having a meltdown? Okay, sorry, I've got a teen meltdown. She's got a show tomorrow and Sunday in Vegas. She's doing jumpers and hunters, and our horse is getting picked up soon. So she's having trying to get everything together. So she's learning to be adaptable right now under pressure and figure it out. That's what she's going to do because Mama's working. All right. Where are we at? Oh, how they sleep. 84% sleep on their side, stretched out. There is some studies that they've showed, like dogs that are more anxious and more fearful, they'll try to sleep under things. But I think that some of that's just the normal instincts of being a den animal. And then they said followed by the other sleep positions, which we all know, especially the doodle pose, which this little guy is doing on their back, curled up in a ball, or the other one that tied for second after sleeping on their side was with their head propped up on something. And so you'll see them sleeping with their head, propped up on something. 3%, only 3% sleep with a toy in their mouth. So if you have one of those, you are, I think you're lucky. They sleep with their little toy in their mouth. What is they seem to not always sleep in the crate? I hear him at night fussing, not vocal, but I can tell he's not asleep. Oh, why? What do they seem to, so I mean, their sleep cycle can only be 45 minutes typically, so they may wake up and then they have to get better about going back to sleep. But I will say the common reasons for not sleeping in their kennel at night is they're too warm and they don't have the ability to move and cool down, and if they want to stretch out on their side, and if the kennel's not large enough that they can stretch out on their side. So typically, especially depending where you live, like in Las Vegas, like we don't have beds in the kennels because it's too warm and they don't have the ability to cool down. You could do like a cool mat on the bottom of the kennel, as long as it's not a puppy, they won't chew it up, as well as a fan, not right on it because I want them to be able to escape. So I'll kind of tilt the fan so only half of the kennel is getting air. So if they need to move their head away from, so they don't dry out, that they have that ability as well. But they're typically too warm and or not enough space to stretch out. And then try one of those two things. Almost always those will be your two areas of problems. Japan has sleep pods. Give me some sleep pods, man, right? That's what a kennel is. Our dogs have sleep pods, man. Where's my sleep pod, right? Oh my gosh. Ours cries out in his sleep at times. Is it best not to wake up? I don't. They're typically in REM. They also twitch a lot as puppies or can move in their sleep, like they're chasing something. Their brain is in REM. So that's actually a good sleep. I know people, if they think they're having a nightmare and they wake them up, but I don't, because that's the brain doing its work, cleaning things up. The brain does the same that ours does when they are sleeping, and they'll clean up, dead cells and just get the brain ready to go, categorize everything, clean everything up. But, it's totally up to you. I know that some feel better about waking them up, but I don't, because I feel like they are in a deep sleep. If they're crying out in sleep, moving in their sleep, twitching, all of that, like you got a good sleep, man, right? Like when we have a good dream, we're like, I was sleeping good. All three of my labs sleep on their back, paws up. Yep. Very comfortable, relaxed dogs that feel safe. Dogs too, I feel like they just conk right out in the middle of everything. That's not a bad thing. Just remember, if there's a lot going on and your dog's constantly getting woken up, it's just something to think about. They're not getting as restful of sleep as they could. We, and that's an issue for our farm dog, who technically works 24/7, right? Which we know is not possible, but gosh dang it, he tries to, and he sleeps really light because of a car, if a coyote, if a dog barks, like he has to go investigate. Like that's in his breed. That's what he was bred to do as well. Like he protects the property. But especially in the heat, and even in the winter when it's cooler, I bring him in the house to sleep because he's not sleeping well at night. And he does not sleep well when he's protecting the properties. When he's in the house and he can't hear cars and he can't hear this and he can't see that, that dog will sleep so hard that it doesn't matter what's going on in the house. Like I have a picture too, like we had Kay's 16th birthday party and he's right in the middle of it all, conked out, people stepping over him. I'm like, dude, like you could sleep in a corner or go in the room, but he's still, that's part of his breed too, to be a part of it and make sure that if something's going on, he's a part of it. But when he is in the house, like God love that dog, at least he sleeps well in the house, because he was not sleeping well when he's on the property, because that's his deal. Like he has to work all the time. He doesn't have to, but he does. Like he will. He'll sleep so light that I know he's not getting the rest and sleep that he really, really does need. So, oh my gosh. There you have it. I cannot stress enough the importance of your puppies getting enough sleep. We are packing them around too much, and they're overtired, overpacked around puppies act out. And some of those behaviors could be deemed as aggressive, but if it's literally gotten to that point, you know you really, really need to fix it, because they've told you prior you weren't listening. A dog just doesn't snap. They've given you plenty of warning, but you have not listened. Dogs don't yawn because they're tired either. Yawning is actually a sign of stress. So there's no way that a dog really can tell you that they're tired, except if you see that change in behavior and you're like, holy heck, like this dog's aggressive, like everything has just gotten out of control. They're acting different than normal, like this isn't their normal puppy play. Then they need more rest. They need more sleep. They need more quiet time, and really look at how much are you holding and packing around a puppy. Huge, right? Did you know dogs needed that much sleep? All right, any questions about sleep? I think it's pretty, and if we realize those few differences between a dog's sleep pattern and ours, and also realize how much sleep they really do need, um, really can change the relationship you have with your puppy. All right, you guys, happy Friday. I'm Jeanette with 4E Kennels. We're only changing breeding from bad to badass, but we are healing hearts and changing lives through the power of a dog. Today's class, do not forget how much sleep and rest your puppy and dog needs, and please make sure that they are getting that. It's all, you take home that new puppy too. This is all the beginning of building that foundation of true respect and love. And when they know that they are honored with something as simple as sleep and getting their rest during the day, that you're not continuing to stack stress and cause anxiety, it's huge, just like with us too. If we're eating well, we're exercising, we're sleeping well, we do function at a much happier, greater rate, as do our dogs. All right, have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.